All righty, the crossover brought to you by California Academy of Sciences. Every visit supports the Academy's mission to regenerate the natural world. Learn more and reserve your ticket at calacademy.org. What's up, Dan Dibley in the house? Larry Krueger on his way.
Oh, yeah.
Shortly.
I mean, the best way to get me from a good mood to a fantastic mood is a little Outcast on the way in. Thank you, JT Lucan. Caroline, I know you like to think your blank don't stink, but even roses really smell like poo, poo, poo.
That one was off the Love Below, I think, right?
Fantastic track. Underrated Outcast jam right there.
Fan.
Thank you, JT.
Dibs, what struck you since we last talked on Friday?
Oh, what struck me?
Yeah.
Lightning, Steiny. I was out for 4 days. Oh, no.
Drew Brees.
That's right. I forgot.
No, I've been gone a long time. What struck me,
From today.
And
work back.
Draymond Green opting out, which I think means, he's going to leave. I don't know if he opts out and decides to stay. I don't know if the Warriors are going to. Here's my thing, Steiny.
Yep.
If the Warriors were going to keep Draymond Green, they would have offered him enough to where it wouldn't have gotten to the point where he would opt out and test free agency. I think he's testing free agency because he wants to get as much money as he possibly can, and I don't fault him for that. So I look at his situation. He had a player opt for, 27.5 to stay. So if the team offered him, let's just say 80, we'll keep you at 27.5, and then we'll give you 25, and then we'll give you whatever that would be, 25 more or 27 more, whatever the number would be. Just stay a Warrior, Draymond, because you said you wanted to be a Warriors and you always want to be a Warriors, and now you're opting out, which tells me that the offer that he got reportedly from the Warriors, because they were in negotiations, I'm being told, according to sources, to me, whatever they offered him was not as much as he would have wanted. And that's why he opted out. And so he already asked for a max in the offseason, reportedly.
Right.
Yeah. And the team either gave him crickets or laughter or both. I'm not sure which one, but whatever the perception is, Draymond Green wants to get every last penny. And if you're Joe Lacob, do you want to give him $90 million over 3, which is really $360 million over 3? I think not.
Larry?
He's gone.
Is it up to Joe? I mean, there's a thing called leverage. I think Kerr's on record as saying they're not title contenders. I was listening to a really good show driving in, a guy named Steiny, and today Guru's out. But I heard Kerr in the quote say,
Evan
we're not
slumming after his Dan Patrick turn.
Yeah.
Most important show.
Evan Patrick over here. No,
Totally.
Is it really up to Joe? I mean, it seems like Green's got leverage.
You would think so. And that's the thing. Steve Kerr, you say you can't contend without Draymond Green and you lose Draymond Green. Then what? Like, that's the first thing I would think of if I were a fan. Well, so everybody's saying it's over. What?
Well,
I don't want a coach who thinks it's over coaching my team.
I hear you.
No, he's only got one more year, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also kind of a weird thing. It's like, I agree with Kerr's notion that they're not title contenders without Green. But here's the other rub. Are they title contenders with him?
Exactly. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
When Steve Kerr says that they're not a title contender without him, and then I hear Mike Dunleavy Jr. today say have to have him, it's not that with him they are undoubtedly going to be in the finals, but without him, it just feels like, I don't know if Steve Kerr feels like he can win without him or doesn't know how to, because, I mean, frankly, they haven't done the best job at getting these young guys up to speed outside of Jordan Poole. There hasn't also been much room for those young guys to get minutes. And maybe he feels like, look, this is the only way I know how to win. And I'm the head coach. It's my job to win. You're paying me to win. I need my guy in order to do that. And I don't know if, like, I don't think that they tipped their hand one way or another today, but I do wonder how much of that leverage you're talking about Draymond Green now feels like he has, because they just spent 35 minutes saying that, basically, we need you, buddy. And it's on the same day that you opt out. I don't read too much into it because we heard the news from Friday, so we knew this was coming. But I do think that Draymond and his camp were very tuned into what the message of this press conference was going to be, which to me largely said Draymond Green's our number one priority.
And he's tuned into the timing of it, which is why he released it before the press conference. To me, and maybe it's the leverage play that you're talking about, Larry, because Draymond Green leaks it, or his camp leaks it to Shams 3 hours before the presser in order to hijack the proceedings to make it about Mike Dunleavy Jr. And also about Draymond Green. So to me, that might be his only leverage play, because if they already made him an offer, and I believe that they have, and he said, I want more, so I'm going to test free agency, I don't know what leverage he has.
He has the leverage in that the coach, who's highly respected, has said they can't win without him. And as Steiny just kind of pointed out, it's almost borderline unprecedented. I mean, what coach in what sport has said that? We aren't a contender without player X.
That isn't your best player.
That's not your best player. But also, here's the other question I think has to be asked. If they run it back, because that's what it sounds like, if you badly want Green back and you're Dunleavy to listen to him talk about this roster, it's like, hey, our roster's set. Really? I see heavy lifting to do. He doesn't see heavy lifting to do, but if you're running it back and Green's coming back and Clay's coming back and everybody's coming back and Poole's going to be here for the next 4 years, why is it going to be any different?
That's my thing is I just don't think they're going to, okay, the foundational 6, well, let's throw Kuminga in there because he makes 7. I just don't think they're going to bring those 7 guys back. And those are essentially their top 7 players. To me, that's a little bit of insanity. Why are you going to be better next year?
Right.
You had the same top 7 next year or last year. I mean, and here's the answer. Well, Steph, Clay's getting better. Draymond had a great year, so he's going to have a great year. Poole's going to bounce back. Wiggins is going to, it's like 9 things you need to happen.
Right. I think my takeaway from this is that Kuminga, bye-bye. That's gone. He's gone.
Well, that's the other thing. Can you really re-sign Draymond for $75 million over the next 3 years without having something in mind for Kuminga?
And can you bring back Poole and Draymond again? That to me has been the biggest question. I mean, the rat on the table brought to you by Atco Pest Control.
Nice.
Well, Draymond re-sign if Poole is still here. Maybe he's trying to leverage Poole out.
Exactly. And, will Poole go into shutdown mode again if Draymond is in fact re-signed? I think the Draymond news this morning before the press conference was a shot across the bow, basically saying, I'm going to take my talents elsewhere. LA's got cap room. I know you mentioned during the break, Steiny, we were chatting briefly about Detroit. That to me is a fascinating fit with a team full of 20-year-olds, and then Draymond Green coming in there to try to play Sergeant Hulka for a young core. I don't know if Draymond Green's going to sign on for that, but for me, Draymond releasing that through Shams this morning before the presser was him telling the Warriors, look, either you pay me every last dollar or I'm leaving because I've got other suitors out there.
I think Draymond to Detroit makes tons of sense. If you go to, first of all, he's on record as saying he hates L.A. I mean, there's a live mic.
Oh, but he loves LeBron.
Yeah, unless LeBron's breaking the scoring title, and then he would prefer to be there in person.
Right?
I think the most likely thing is that Green signs a 3-year extension and goes out with Curry here and stays here. But if he's going to leave, do you want to go somewhere where the expectation is you win titles? Well, maybe, but maybe if you go to Detroit and you elevate them to an Eastern Conference contender with all those young guys, maybe that's the way to go out.
Why couldn't Draymond Green sign a 3 for 90 and then you decide after a year, hey, actually, Clay's deal's coming up. I don't know if we want to re-sign him. Steve Kerr said you can't win without this guy, but it finds out actually your second-round team anyways. You just trade him after a year.
Well, what kind of year did he have?
Right.
I mean, that's the scare. And then if you want to simplify it real quick, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on Twitch, YouTube, and the free Odyssey app. I forgot what I was going to say.
There's something about Draymond Green getting traded after a year.
No, you could do that, but if Draymond has a year where he's injured, and because Draymond Green he's got 3 or 4 different ailments that are one tweak away from costing him the whole season.
Let me throw this at you guys. The whole thing about if you re-sign Draymond for 3 more years, match him up with Curry. Well, then you have Clay playing on a contract year. So let's say, you know what? We're going to get Clay 2 more years, and now the big three's all done at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody else worried that one of those guys is going to get hurt for 50 games at least during a season one year?
Absolutely.
And then what? And I get it. That's the biggest, Steph Curry misses, not forget season ending, but are they going to be able to play enough games for you to win?
It's a guy who's got a car that has 125,000 miles on it, and he's telling you how he's taking it across country next week.
Exactly.
You know what? And you're sitting there going, man, this guy, is he going to even get to the Nevada border before he think that thing overheats? Then there's I've read Klay Thompson, Paul George rumors. Is that, is he going to reunite with Jerry West in L.A. and go down there? I don't know, but it just seems what's do we anybody know the term on Dunleavy's deal?
I don't.
That's kind of like why is that question not asked? How long are you here for?
You know what? It's weird. GMs are one of the few that salaries don't really come out, and coaches.
Right.
You might expect that after Bob Myers. My understanding, he was covered like a top flight free agent this summer.
My understanding is Bob was making 10-ish, 10, 12. But my understanding was he was making more.
But Dunleavy's not in that neighborhood.
No, I don't know, 5.
How many years do you think he has?
Good question.
Yeah,
3. Good question.
Is he here long term, or is he? Is he going to be the fall guy for this offseason in a year?
If I'm Mike Dunleavy, I got to get at least 3 years, at least.
Oh, I got to get 4,
and
minimum.
maybe 4 because look, he sees this is not easy. This is not easy.
And after 3, he might not have Steph, Clay, or Dray. He might not have any of those 3.
Right.
So then what?
Right.
So he's the guy left holding the bag for the dismantling of the big 3. That can't be right. The question I wanted to ask was a question to Joe Lacob about how much money over the tax he is going to be paying because, you still want Draymond Green. I get that. Are you going to pay him $3 and $90? And if you do, you're going to be way over the tax again. How deep are you willing to go, Joe, over this luxury tax threshold?
Yeah, I think the line in the sand question not only answers stuff about Draymond, but you can read into that about Klay Thompson.
And Jordan Poole Poole. Right?
Yeah, if there's a line that he doesn't want to go over, I don't know, he's stated some numbers in the past, but maybe that changes if he actually, in fact, feels like they can compete for a title. I wonder. The tone of the press conference today and the tone of the press conference with Bob Myers exiting, I felt like we're similar from Joe Lacob, but I came away with 2 completely different notions. Like today, I felt like at the end of that press conference, I felt like they want Draymond Green there, and I feel more likely that they are going to re-sign him. At the end of the Bob Myers press conference, it sounded like there was a big wholesale shift coming, and who knows, there could be still, but after today, I feel like they're more inclined to run it back than at the end of the Bob Myers exit.
And what's can they pass out a little chart that shows us the hierarchy? The buck stops with who? Is the GM the final call? Because in most worlds, the basketball operations guys has the final call. So that means that Mike reports to Kirk, and Kirk reports to Joe.
Joe said that Mike has the final say on basketball roster matters. Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody's the president of basketball operations anymore, but Kirk is still the EVP, and Mike Dunleavy's the GM.
Right.
Or title.
Okay, so we got that answer.
And Kurt, Joe made it seem like the reason why Bob got to be president was because he earned it by winning championships. So, in other words, Mike, if you want to get the president title, and Joe's not big on titles, he said that multiple times. He's not, although I am the team owner.
Other than the 4 he's got, yes.
Other than the title that I have as owner with a capital O, I'm not big on titles. So until Mike Dunleavy Jr. does what Bob did, you're not going to get to the president level.
Interesting times.
The other thing that came up today is Chris Paul. Shams Charania reported that the Warriors have interest in Chris Paul. The Warriors. Now, he's with the Wizards. He's guaranteed $30 million, but there's going to be a buyout of some. Nobody's going to bail him out. But, you know,
Did that trade become official yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's not official because
we've seen Chris Paul trades get rescinded before.
That's true. There may be a third team involved in that trade. So when I look at the Warriors and I see Chris Paul out there, and the Warriors are interested in him, I'm thinking, wow, if you could just drop Chris Paul on this roster. Here's where I'm at with Jordan Poole. I'm scared to trade Jordan Poole for the long-term thing, but also for the short-term thing that he helps them win. He helps them win games when he's really, really good. And for people that, we'll just move Jordan Poole and we'll be. But if Chris Paul's here, now you can move Jordan Poole.
Of course.
The long term's going to be a problem because he's probably going to be a good player. But now you have three guards who there's enough time for those three guards to play together. Now maybe you can move Jordan Poole for a big and a wing or something who can help you win now. That doesn't sound crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, when Chris Paul, the idea was first broached, I'm like, come on, really? He's 38. You're talking about next June. What's he going to look like next June? That's so speculative. But I think what's really clear is that they are going to go forward and prioritize basketball IQ and knowing how to play the game. They don't want to coach anybody up. They don't want to develop anybody. They want to have guys who know how to play. Chris Paul knows how to play.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, like the only reason in that scenario I would be wary to move off of Poole is because, like you said, he's 38 years old. So even if he's in a bench role, he's playing less minutes. To ask him to be the guy that could come in and potentially start 25 to 30 games if Steph misses, I don't know if he can stay healthy for that amount of time. Jordan Poole is the ultimate contingency plan in my mind, because no matter what type of Jordan Poole you're getting, I know he's out there for 82 games. And that I feel confident in saying.
Yeah, but can you bank on him for the Big 16? Because Jordan's been great for the 82, but when it comes time for the 16 wins in the postseason, he tends to shrink a little bit. And maybe it's because the coach doesn't trust him or he doesn't have the same confidence. His role isn't quite the same. Mm-hmm. Jordan Poole's been a far better regular season player than he's been in the playoffs.
He stunk in the playoffs. Come on.
Who, Poole?
Yeah.
This year.
Stunk in the playoffs.
This year.
He's been more about the 82 than he's been about the 16.
The guy needs to penetrate
this year's
and
playoffs.
get to the line. In that Lakers series, he got to the line 4 times. 4 free throw attempts.
Look, something happened to him. He was a mess.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. But what I saw last year, when I watched the Warriors, and I'm watching Jordan Poole last year at times, I'm saying, as if I'm not a Warrior fan, you got to be kidding me. They found this guy, Jordan Poole, after Klay Thompson and after Steph Curry. Are you serious? There's a guy who's shooting from the hash mark. I get it. He's a volume guy now. He's inefficient, but he's 23.
Right. 24. He can get better.
He's got stuff that most players don't. He can get you 20. Anybody who can get you 20, 22 a night just by playing. Not every player can do that in the NBA.
I know, but here's the problem. He's gotten the bag already, and I don't think he's going to. Is he going to listen now that he's already gotten paid? Because he loves to do what he's not good at: hoist Steph Curry super deep heat check threes while shooting 25% in the playoffs, 32% in the regular season. And he doesn't like to do what you need him to do, which is put it on the deck, get inside, create for others, go to the line, make free throws. He doesn't do that. So there has to be some kind of discussion here about this is what makes you good. This is where you need work. This is what we want out of you. This is, I don't know if that can be, some guys can adapt, just have one conversation. I got to think they've already said it, right? So what does that mean?
Well, that's what Steiny brought up, basically, like, would Draymond Green be willing to come back and make less money than Jordan Poole? Because that might be a sign of respect.
That's what I said.
No chance.
Other people are like, he doesn't care.
Right.
I wouldn't.
I would present
if
Andrew
I'm Draymond
Wiggins.
Green and I don't like Jordan Poole doesn't like me, I'm sorry, I'm not coming back for less than Jordan Poole. I'm not. Like, that's why these guys are so great, because they're that petty and that competitive.
And what we're talking
And
about
Draymond Green would already be thinking, I'm not coming back to this team with that guy making more than me. Yeah. Not him.
No,
but
of all people.
But Andrew Wiggins also doesn't make more than Jordan Poole.
Different cat, though.
Arguably,
right.
Andrew Wiggins is a
player.
Yes, but I think that
More
when we make
player.
comparisons to anybody and anybody else in the league, Andrew Wiggins is one of the most unique players that I have ever seen in terms of his ego. Maybe it's because he's Canadian, Steiny. Shout out Canada. I know you love the country. It's
Yes,
it's your future home, but it's your wannabe home.
One of them.
I've been told that they don't want you.
He has
but
an island up there.
We'll talk. Yeah, he's got an island, all right. But I think that Andrew Wiggins is completely unique in terms of comparative values. And if you're Jordan Poole and Draymond does come back and makes less than Jordan Poole does, you think that Jordan Poole's not going to walk around with a little bounce in his step or a little smirk or a little smug?
I don't know. I mean,
Why did things go
well.
south last year? Exactly.
is it? I mean, now you're painting a picture where these guys are ridiculously petty. I mean, because
I'm painting a picture also where if we'll bring it back next year and everything will work out. You really think so?
the hardcore Warrior fan on Twitter thinks so.
I'm painting a picture
I'm talking about Poole and Draymond and everything that happened this year. Like, and by the way, I don't know what happened with Wiggins, but I don't think like there's nothing to that either. There may be residual stuff to the Wiggins stuff that we're not even aware of. For example, perhaps a resentment by some people in there that are like, man, he just left for 2 months. Like Kuminga cannot be happy with like that Wiggins left, came back, and it was like Kuminga never was there.
Yeah, I think they're willing. I mean, first of all, Wiggins under contract, so to compare him to Green, you know. But if Green gets 30 a year, Poole's making 27.5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he probably is going to get more than Poole, right? I mean,
well, if he does, I don't know if it'll be in Golden State. I mean, that's
3 for 75 isn't going to get it done.
No,
wouldn't be more than Poole.
Here's the other question that nobody seems to broach, but Kerr's on record as saying they're not a championship contender without Green, and if Joe opts to pay Green less and he walks, does Kerr walk?
I don't know about that, but it does send the message, well, I guess Joe's not willing to win at all costs. Or else he agrees with Kerr that they're no longer a championship team. Maybe the Warriors say Draymond's leaving and now we're not. We've acknowledged we're not, so we're going in a different direction. It's unreal. Hey, guys, your show's coming up. We love talking to you.
I got 2 sources, by the way, who both agreed today, but 2 Warrior sources who both agreed that they feel like they know who the Warriors' choice is in the draft. I'm going to I'll tease that.
I broke it already.
Did you?
Louis B. Leakey.
Derek Lively.
That's what I said.
Neither of those.
All right, gents, have a great chance.